In a blended learning classroom, I like to use flexible instructional grouping. And some of the ways that I use flexible instructional grouping is the first thing that I have are Kagan structures. Kagan structures is the idea that you group students in a certain way so that no student gets frustrated or feels left out from the group. For example, I will pair up a high with a high medium, or I can also pair up a low medium with a low. You can pair them up in a group of four, or you can pair them up in a group of two. So that's for Kagan structures, and that's how I use it in my classroom. I go ahead and I just pair them up. Now, after I pair up with Kagan structures, we work on activities that students can work on together. They can be in a group of two, three, four, even five. Okay, so then the activities look something like this in a blended learning classroom. Here we have a slide of divisibility rules. For the most part, I use this at the beginning of the year. And you have these numbers and this maze that the students are working. Now they're working together. This one I do together in a group of two, maybe a three if there's an extra student. So it's very easy, and the directions are right here in the slideshow. It says begin the maze in the box labeled start. Solve the problem to the best of your ability to determine the correct path through the maze. Drag the highlights below to show the path through the maze. So as you're going through the maze, you will start and you will read it. You will put the answer where it goes, maybe something like that. You also have the next slide where you can also type in your answer also if they prefer to do it like that. Now they're working together in a group. And this is another example of an activity that we use during the first 6 weeks. Here we have use the model to make a fraction, decimal and percents, and students are working together with this one. On the Google Classroom, I assign one to every student. Now, if they are working together, they're doing something called a rally coach. That's also from Kagan Structures. The first person does a part, and the second person is possibly looking through the journal, looking through the notes, reminding them on how to solve something and being their coach. And then the role is reversed, or student number two then becomes the one that solves the next problem, and student number one becomes the rally coach, which they are rallying them on, looking through the journal, reminding them on how to solve certain problems. So here is just some of the slides that we put together so that students can be working together in a group of two or three. This can also be worked on with the teacher also. The teacher can also be part of a group. This is also another example of a different type of activity that we use in flexible grouping. We have here some multiplication that we were working on. This is also during the first 6 weeks. And this is our multiply and divide decimals, and it's a digital mystery picture. So whenever they get the correct answers here, they will go on to see the completion of the picture. So here we have the first one. If you put in the correct answer and you push enter, it becomes green, and then you see the first part of the mystery picture. As you go on, certain parts of the picture start to color the picture. Now, this is between the group of two or a group of three, and everybody's having a turn. And they are helping each other out as they're going through. Now, if you put in a wrong answer, then it'll be red. You cannot go any further until you put in the correct answer, and that way your picture can be correct at the end. So we have been working with cake instructions in the classroom. I've showed you some slides and activities that students can do in a blended learning classroom where they're helping each other out, being the rally coach, looking through the journal, looking through their notes, making sure that the activities are completed correctly before they're turned in. And then we have something else called student coaching. This is when the students actually get together and really help out a student that really doesn't understand. So let me show you what that looks like in a classroom. The students here are helping this other student out, and they're kind of being around him, helping him, making sure that he understands what is happening. Okay, and we have here an example of what your classroom might look like when students coach each other, they work together. Sometimes you have more than one student being coached. Sometimes you have students that just prefer to work alone and prefer to do the recorded video and see the teacher examples before they start asking for a student coach. This is another way where you'll see flexible instructional grouping in a blended learning classroom.